We've done our CAD model of the F1 car. We've made sure that's to scale and the units are correct. We've exported that as an NC file, and we've done the left view, we've done the right, we've done the top. What I've done now is I've taken those files and put them onto the Tormach. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by cutting out the right side. Now, the difficulty with setting this up is in the billet, let's call this the billet, the hole for the gas canister is in the centre on the horizontal, but on the vertical it is slightly up, and I think it's about 8 millimeters off. So that means that when you're cutting here, obviously your datum's going to change because that's wider, but when you turn it over, you're completely off by 8 millimeters, which can lead to a few bad things happening, one of which is that the tool bit can go through it, and this is aluminium, and though it probably wouldn't damage the Tormach in any way whatsoever, and the speed we're going, it actually cuts it. It does damage this, and that's going to cost you. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll show the loading, and then we'll show the setting up, and then we'll show the cutting, and then we'll have a look at how what that finish looks. In our file, I've got F1 in schools, and I've loaded all my files from the USB, and I put them onto the actual hard drive of the machine here. And we're going to start with right, and we can preview right. We can load that G code up, and we can just scroll in, and you can see there's the outline of the F1 car. Most important thing at this point is to look at that dimension there, 200.3, and the reason we're looking at that is because this billet. Now, these two lines here is where the jig clamps it, okay? So if that tool bit goes beyond there, we've got a problem, because it's actually gonna damage the jig. So 200 mil taken from the side of the hole takes us to there, and we've got plenty of space for the clamps. Now, we've secured this jig directly into the Tormach. This ensures that it's always going to be in the right place, and it's always going to be perpendicular and parallel. I'm going to loosen these. I'm going to loosen this. I'm going to clamp this in to here, onto that side, shove that into the hole there, base it down, orientate it so that I'm cutting the right side. I'm looking at that side there. The datum is going to be there on that corner. That point is going to be on that corner. So I've got the billet. You can see the groove there, that's your tether line. So we know that this is the bottom of the car. That is the top, that is the right, that is the left. This jig here, that's going to go into your tether groove there. These two teeth are going to dig in. This jig is actually a Denford jig. I'll put that on. That must go on first, because this is actually going to fit in there. And turn that way there. Okay, I'm glad this has actually happened. I can't move the bed, I can't raise or lower the Z. Here, we've got Z limit. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, Z limit. It means that the tool has been raised too high up. Now, to get it out of that, we have to turn the sensor off, bring it down, turn the sensor back on. Okay, so in order to fix this, I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to disable the reference switches. I'm going to click reset, and now I'm going to push page down on the keyboard. Our tool is now working, and we don't have that Z limit reached. Now it's probably for the best that I enable the reference switches again. Reset, go to status. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to play around with the cursor keys, and we are going to set the datum. What I need to do now, I need to get the center of that tool here onto this cross here. This here is an endoscope. I'm going to reference. Now I've homed it, what I need to do is 0 all those coordinates. So now that tool bit is in that corner there, which is exactly where I said that the tool bit would be in the simulation on Fusion 360. Is I'm going to click cycle start, and that will get everything going. Just make sure that you've refed your X, you've refed your Y, you've refed your Z, you've zeroed all three. Your doors are closed, there's no tools in the chuck or anything like this, or the collet, and you're secured down. Press cycle start. You might want to hover over stop, just in case you're going to second guess yourself and you see it plunge where it shouldn't be plunging, or going too deep, or it's going too fast, or it's making a horrible noise, or you notice something. You hover over stop, it's probably going to be a lot quicker to click that than it is the emergency stop. If you press the emergency stop, you've lost everything. If you press stop, you've stopped. You might not have lost as much. You can see the tool bit going, I think we said it's 6 mil below the midway point, so that we clear the bull nose, so we get a straight edge on that without a radius curve. We're coming to the end of the code now. Okay, so the machine's actually finished now. This line here is going to be holding that whole thing together when we turn it over. You can see that we gave it quite a lot of clearance there. We had about 6 mil, 8 mil to the end. The next stage now is to take this out, turn it around, select the left side, and make sure that we reset that datum. It's a real problem, that, because of this not being absolute center. I've undone the hex nuts there with the Allen key, and here, taken the guides off, turned it around, put those back on and secured it. One thing I am noticing is that these slots do fill up with dust. If you've got compressed air, great. If you haven't, you might want to tape over them just to make it a lot easier next time. So we're going to have to load the left side. So to do that, you can go to File, select the left, load the G-code. Okay, we're going to zoom in just to make sure that that's correct. And as you can see, it's the upside down image of the right hand side, and that makes sense because what we've done is we've turned the billet or the stock material around, and now the groove that was at the bottom or facing the doors of the Tormach or the CNC machine are now facing the back of that, and we'll have a look at that in a minute. Okay, so that's loaded. Okay, now theoretically the Z0 should be exactly the same. That edge should be in the same place, and that is why you're paying quite a lot of money for these, because they are supposed to be completely accurate. However, this and this are going to be different. This should again be the same. However, human error on that one. I might have pushed it forward. It might be back. So I'm definitely got to double check here. Shouldn't have to check there, and I'm definitely going to have to recalibrate there. Click cycle start, and that will get everything going. Okay, one of the good things here to check for is the tether line is now pointing the back. The top is now pointing to the front of the machine. As we were cutting it, when I took it out, you could see that there was a line, a thicker line, that was running across the top. If we look now, that line is at the top, which is now at the front, not at the back, but it is at the top of the stock. Now, one thing you might want to do, is you could take a vernier calipers, measure the thickness of that line as you removed it, and turned it around, and maybe reach in, very, very careful, and just measure that, and it will let you know how off you are. So remove this. I've got a feeling it's not as good as it could be. It's not looking too bad. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm not going to do the top. I'm going to slice it off there with a scroll saw, slice that off with a scroll saw, and just sand that down, and get it nice and smooth. So we can see that this one is actually smaller on that side than here. This irregularity is because I put the datum 2 millimeters out. This one a lot more accurate. I made sure that the y-axis was 8 mils difference, but the x-axis, I forgot that jig actually slides backwards and forwards, and is a real problem if you don't watch out for it. So not just the y can cause you an issue, but the x can as well. So this one, huge problem. This was because I didn't reset the datum on the Y side. I actually forgot that this hole is not in the center, it is off center. So there's quite a few mistakes, and you've got to keep these mistakes because during the presentations and things, you need to have evidence that it went wrong and this is how you fixed it.